brass in Washington called this a
Operation Kiss.
Mr. Murphy.
Oh my god, an actual sentence without swearing.
And I intend to finish what I started.
Don't get used to it because our great hero, when he doesn't swear, he's insulting someone or something.
Now, folks.
Even his country.
Now, folks, we understand that there may be swearing in the world here and there, but there comes a point when wanton swearing isn't even enraging, it's just stupid. And not in the good way. Like, swearing...
I think I said
sad,
it
really. It's like, this is the best thing they could think of.
I think I said it already in the previous part. The swearing works the best when it's accentuating something, you know. It gives a purpose to the...
Let me put it like this.
The great leader must have a tiny dick.
Okay. It's not even that big. Why did you do
okay.
compensate for something?
You know what would have been better is like if he was looking like a giant statue or a giant building. It doesn't even look that bombastic or anything. I mean, it looks like something that's completely necessary. That's like saying, oh, this guy has a house. That means he's compensating for something. Never mind the size of his house. Just, oh, he dares to have a home. But yeah, anyway, I think swearing is done best when you see it in cases like BoJack Horseman, where they only save the real big swears for when it really warrants it.
Look at how good I am at style, so.
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, you could be as loud as you like thinking behind these guys when you do a kill move. They just won't respond to you unless you shoot.
I dare say this means that this game has failed at being a stealth. If only that were the only problem with this game.
What the fuck do you fucking
Also,
mean,
can this game decide whether or not it wants to be first person or third person, please?
Yeah, it can be distracting.
Don't you see, Jova? We couldn't decide what kind of shooter to make, so we just made both of them.
It's just so disorienting how you have to switch constantly back and forth.
I understand that we had little time at disposal, but Rebellion is not like an incompetent studio or anything, for redoing everything in little time. So I thought we could be able to, to stick with
did he punch him in the balls before stabbing him?
I think so.
Also...
Why not just stab him? That's just adding insult to him.
Wow, you literally walked into that guy and he didn't even react.
I'm sorry. Too fast for you.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. You crawled into that guy since you're constantly doing this while squatting.
Well, look at the bright side, Jova. We got an Italian trophy for it.
You know what's funny, Tio? I had to imagine now Mickey Rourke's character is constantly squatting while doing all this.
The trophy list is weird, a bit mixed, if you ask me. Some of the trophies require stacking, meaning that you need to do multiple runs. The game is short anyway, so it's not like you're losing that much time, but it...
Sorry, asshole.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow, this building looks so bland.
But it can still get annoying. However, the platinum is practically impossible because most of, second half of the trophy are entirely reliant on the multiplayer, which nobody cared about. I don't even think, similar to Dark Void, I don't think this is a case where, I don't even know if the servers are still up, but I highly doubt. But even so, I think it's one of those cases where I think PSN Profiles is not bothering with doing sessions about this.
Part of the problem with having a stealth game be first person is because you cannot necessarily see your player character's body and master, you don't always know how much of you needs to be hidden during stealth sections.
I forgot if I mentioned this, but aiming accurately, quote unquote, in first person sucks a lot because your reticule completely dissipates and you're only relying on the actual physiology of the gun. In this case, having to have the target center in the circle. It's harder than it looks, actually, especially with guns like the pistol.
Huh, that's funny to you. I thought first person was supposed to be the mode where it was easier to aim. But no, in this game it's easier to aim when you're in first person.
If you don't do anything and it is, it's when you aim, basically, when you're in first person like that, you can still shoot without taking aim. But taking aim with with L1 in this case, has our protagonist moving the weapon towards his face and aiming more accurately, representing him taking aim. The problem is that, like I just said, that this involves like the reticule disappearing, and instead having you relying on the scope of the actual weapon. If it's something like, say, a sniper rifle, that makes perfectly sense if you ask me. But especially because it replaces it with the actual zoom of the weapon. But if it's something like similar to the pistol, you're only relying on your actual vision.
Looks like some have already shipped out.
Hold on.
Son of a bitch. Can you take care of the ones still in the factory?
There's a Pope shit in the woods.
Okay.
What?
I don't even know what he said.
That's not even. Oh, he said.
Also, by the way, you don't really have any countdown timers. You can take all the time that you want.
Basically, to you, he said.
so much
Does
for the urgency, eh?
basically, to you, he said, "Does a Pope S word in the woods?"
There's a Pope shit in the woods.
Is that like a British World War Dweebs?
It looks like
There's nothing
No.
abridged about that. He's literally saying that the Pope.
See,
Doesn't the Vatican building have like bathrooms or something? I mean,
no, okay. To give a small credit where it's due, the actual insults that they give, like now saying that the douchebag convention is in town, actually is a bit more effective. Problem is, it's just one exception in a sea of pointless swearing.
The one I remember the most is where he yells, "God damn cock breath, commie motherfucker!"
Okay, because it's the Cold War. Also, almost all the weapons that you can pick up feels basically the same. Traditional machine guns, just with different types of bullet and clips. So just pick the ones that fall into the ground, and you're good to go.
Here, this is for you. Shit.
Also, whenever you reload, you have to wait until the full animation of the reloading is completed. Otherwise, the animation will be cancelled, and you will need to reload again. That can get very distracting.
Almost as distracting as it's constantly changing perspectives. God dang it.
Yeah, it really is.
Gonna say this, other M did this better. Like, for the most part, when you needed to stay in third person, you stayed in third person, and you had a choice of whether or not you wanted to beam into first person.
Problem, Joe, is that most of the bosses require you to force into first person in order to launch missiles, and with cases like Nightmare can become very annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who's the more to blame for the gameplay aspect, if Team Ninja or someone else, but it's not really that appealing if you ask me still.
I still do want to see a proper third-person action Metroid game, though.
Oh, sure, it's just that it needs a bit better implementation.
Oh yeah, like I was about saying.
I mean, I don't mean that it needs like a Platinum-esque, a Platinum Games-esque structure, because Samus is mostly all about shooting things, not necessarily punching things or doing combos.
Although I do like the melee counter that they introduced in Samus
maybe
Returns.
something similar to Vanquish, I guess.
I think, like, well, do something like, Samus Returns, but in 3D. Shooting, but with a melee counter in case you get swarmed.
You can't let that happen.
Copy that. I'll head for the docks as soon as I sanitize this shit.
Great.
You're speaking rather low for a guy who needs to hear over gunfire, So let me get this straight. When you don't need to yell and swear, you yell and swear. When you
Also,
do
great
need to actually
explosion
yell,
effect,
you
that's it.
speak ever so softly to the point where it doesn't make any story sense.
Also, yeah, watch out in this particular section because you're surrounded by propane tanks, so they can if someone shoots at them and you're in range of explosion, insta kill.
Wow, realism. What a joy.
Because I needed that.
Yeah, totally realistic after getting a guy who swears this much. Among many other things.
Oh, and this is based on an autobiography, so I really wonder how much corresponds to the truth and how much. Well, okay, this scenario in particular obviously is most likely faked out, but I wonder in other cases how much is fabricated and how much actually happened.
Yeah. It's kind of a shame, though. I mean, we've seen a good version of when a guy who's also an author gets involved with games with Tom Clancy, when he was alive, mind you, not while he's dead. Did his insult just get cut off in there in the audio process there?
No, probably because in the script there I just triggered another, event that canceled the line.
It wouldn't surprise me considering the shoddy production values of this game. Seriously, I've seen better looking indie projects.
Anyway, from what I'm checking here, it seems that the game follows a different kind of event. Considering it seems the book covers the participation of Marcenko in the Vietnam War, in the Operation Tabasa in Iran, in the US invasion of Grenada, and the finding history of two United States counter-terrorist units, SEAL Team 6 and Red Sail. I don't know if any of these two was involved in North Korea, but I doubt it. Oh, there you go. Actually, that's what we're saying. The first book was actually autobiographical, but the success basically had Marcenko write a series of sequel novels that were completely made up and where he made his character your average Rambo clone. And this is based on one of them.
So let me get this straight. Non-fiction novel, but then makes
Also,
fictional
yeah, that
sequels.
was the level.
Taxpayer.
Now it goes to the next one, GNBN. I don't know
The intel egg
what
has
this
said they're
acronym
headed
stands
to the
for.
docks, where a ship's waiting to take them on board. What we don't know is where the missiles are going. Yeah, man, I guess it's time for a little ocean air.
Okay then.
Basically, we need to destroy the remaining missiles before they depart.
You know, if you wanted to hide the loading times, guys, maybe make the speech longer, just saying.
Maybe it's actually like that and it's a problem for the PS3 version, I don't know. The game is still on Steam, by the way. It hasn't been delisted, so it's not like Bethesda is ignoring the existence. Also, nice ass shot.
What a shithole. How the fuck did I end up...
Get it, Joma? Because Jersey is a terrible place for some reason.
You know, again, I've seen so many things do that joke better, like, this movie just feels so worn out and tired,
Isn't,
despite trying to be all new and fresh.
Isn't I mean, usually when it comes to comedy about America, isn't usually Detroit the one who's pointed out as the
more
town that's-
violent.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, Pedro, you've seen South Park. You also know how Jersey is apparently also hell.
Well, South Park takes a jab at everything, Jova. So
I think
Jersey is also, you know, a little fun. Jersey's also
yeah,
a place
I think
too.
there was like in one of the there was a time where the Yogi Bear cartoons were instead actually mega crossovers between most of the Hanna-Barbera properties, and in one particular episode, one of the running gags was a pair of aliens were announcing to conquer the world instead trying to conquer the Jersey because it was easier or something like that.
How many more times are we gonna see the exact same CQC animation?
Also, so what's about? So apparently, you're telling me that Jersey is such a terrible place that the Red Army is able to infiltrate it. Apparently.
Remember,
No,
Joe.
maybe it's just a joke, Joe. Remember, we're still in North Korea.
That's the joke.
Which is funny because with the way
Marcenko.
it's well, okay, not to
Well,
nitpick too much.
maybe Joe it really looks like Jersey.
Also, that
How
guy was
cute.
clipping his head was clipping through the floor. Just saying. Well, remember, Jova, they even had a joke in season 2. This was all way back in 1998, where they had this joke where they found a man who has been frozen for 3 years, so they start treating him like he was a prehistoric man or something as a joke. And this man has been frozen since 1996. And they talk about, oh, that's okay, dude. You can go to this place. This can be your new home, Des Moines. See, fashion is 3 years behind. Technology is 3 years behind. Just like you. So Des Moines is apparently 3 years behind at times. Like
Also,
again,
this guy died in the most sexy pose.
What the heck?
Look at that arm though, Tail. It's rigor mortis. Like,
I mean, at least in Terminator Salvation, it very looked like they were using the same stock pose for the dead body and they were cycling it. This guy just basically froze when the ragdoll physics stopped for his model.
okay, Does the game switch from first person to third person like at random, or do you have any actual control of that?
when you're in cover and when you're doing execution, basically.
What kind of design is that? Doesn't that just sounds like it would be incredibly awkward, awkward and intuitive.
Supposedly the cover is there to, the switch to third person, the cover is there to help you to eventually aim from that, but like I mentioned in the previous part, aiming from cover is very awkward and doesn't help you. You might as well just detach yourself from the cover and go back in the open regularly. Jesus.
Gotta love how the models all look pretty much the same, no variations except
Again, the pistol has the advantage that it shoots rapidly and it has unlimited ammo, so in easier difficulty you can save your ass a lot of the time.
Sorry,
Also,
sorry,
Oh
sorry,
my
Java.
god.
Sorry, Java. We can only afford 3 models. What do you think this is? Call of Duty?
Again, there are indie games with better production values than this game.
hell, that shooter that Square Enix is publishing through the Collective, program looks way better than this.
Well, remind me again. When was this game released?
2010, well, 2009 or 10, and it had a trouble development cycle. Like Wibbs mentioned also, other than me, at the last second it was pitched to a complete different studio, scrapped and rebuilt in like a short amount. And like I said, Rebellion, I can stress out, Rebellion is not a bad developing studio. Remember, look at the Sniper Elite games for a comparison of how we do TPS/FPS, prototype.
So how much gratuitous swearing of him?
Dweebs, not much, but in comparison, he did a terrible job at the state of Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I managed to catch that before I had to hit the roof or something.
Whoa,
Well,
Rigor Mortis is really getting weird with that guy. He's still shaking
if this
like
game
he's
released in
alive.
Well, if this game released back in 2009, 2010, Java, at the time, indie games didn't have weren't nowhere near as advanced as they are nowadays, and now we have stuff like A Way Out and Plague Tale. But back in
That doesn't change the fact, though, that this game had more money put into it than most indie games even
Well,
nowadays
remember,
do.
this game's development was restarted from scratch with a different.
Yeah.
That
they
is
said
no
that,
excuse. Anyway, so where are we now?
If anything, it should have been delayed even more. Basically,
Yeah.
Java, we're into the docks, so like the comlink said.
Oh, I know that I meant in the building where where did that window come from? That never showed up in the room we were
Because
in.
we enter through the door. The door basically, because they assume that we enter through the door.
Sloppy transitions much? Wow, you're a terrible stealth operator considering how that guy
Also,
just
Dweebs,
spotted you right
slight
there.
echo.
Suck my balls, my hairy fucking big fucking mouth.
Yeah.
How immature are you? So again, let me just state for the record. So, guy makes non-fiction novel, but then makes fictional sequels to it.
Because it will be to capitalize on the success.
I don't know how to feel
I mean,
about that.
I don't even know if in the novelization is worth that much.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So, which book was this game based off of?
Sorry?
Which book was this game based off of?
Only one. So the Wikipedia article is very, scarce about the whole situation.
I'm guessing it wasn't the first one.
Sorry?
I'm guessing it wasn't the first one.
No. Like I said, graphical one. Let me quote while considering now we need to fight through the entire docs. Rogue War is an autobiography by career U.S. naval officer Richard Dick Marcenko, who spent his career struggling to win acceptance within the Navy establishment. Covers the early history of the SEAL units with participation in Vietnam War, the Iran hostage rescue attempt in 1980, and U.S. invasion of Iraq. The founding and early history of the Navy, counter-terrorist units, SEAL Team 6, and Red Cell. While combating Red Cell, he was able to use directed to use them to test the Navy's anti-terrorist capabilities and to expose the security weakness of U.S. properties around the world. During the test, Red Cell was often able to infiltrate supposedly impenetrable secured bases, nuclear submarines, ships, and other secure areas, quote unquote, including the presidential one. He claims
Better dead than red,
conviction of or misapprobation of funds and resources under his command. Okay.
Huh.
Marcenko also delights in recalling the gross behavior of the SEALs, such as eating the brains of a live monkey to impress on the Cambodian allies. What? Based on the success of the book, Marcenko went on to author a series of novels, placing himself as a protagonist and titling the series Rogue Warrior. The book also spawned a 2009 video game, which features Marcenko as the protagonist. There you go.
Lovely. So, okay, so I don't have to worry about this.
Well, let me tell you this, Jova. In terms of being a licensed product, this game is not doing the job of convincing me to go and read the books because I'm not really interested into them.
Same. I mean, you know, at least I don't have to worry about being called out if this is supposedly non-fictional because pretty sure that this game is not exactly based off of
like I said, this is your average Steven Seagal 2010s, movie plot. Super badass soldiers. It's basically your generic Rambo clone when you get down to it. Just done badly, and I guess that's the problem. If this was done, the badassery aspect is not even that the focus of the problem. It's how it's used, interpreted, and everything around it. If the context and the situation were more appropriate for Marcenko to constantly swear and managing to destroy his enemy like a badass gun blazing in the open, I could have understood this. It's just the sloppiness of how things are portrayed right now. Not to mention, for being such a badass, Marcenko is very fragile. He can die I didn't show it because I trimmed away the fat of the game overs, but as you can see from the black and white perspective, you can go into critical health very quickly, even on easy mode. So this game is not actually that pleasurable to go through. I guess it's also augmented artificially for difficulty in order to force players to take their time in order to finish the game and not speedrun through it, but I call bullshit on that. There we go, now we just need to reach the end of the docks and we're good to go. Okay.
See, twitching.
Don't bother with the shotgun because you need to get close to the enemies in order to use it properly, and at that point you might as well just use the the melee attack. Yay! I actually managed to kill 4 in one go. And basically this is one of those games that has one of the more predictable trophies: kill X number of enemies at the same time with a grenade. Depending on the game where this is applied to, it's actually...
Hang on, was one of those guys floating in the air?
Yes.
I don't know, I jumped out because there was a game over in between.
I'll just answer your question, yes he was. And yes, this game is shoddily put together. I mean, there's only so many ways I can come up with saying that, but that's just what this game is. Terribly put together.
What do you expect? It was published by Bethesda.
But Rebellion were working
that
on
actually
this.
doesn't really mean anything, Glibs, because the problems came only for the Russian nature, not just because of a company that was publishing.
Well, who rushed it?
Bethesda.
Well, Rebellion, I guess.
Well, okay, to Dribs' credit to you, Bethesda are heavily responsible for rushing this game out the door, too. It's sort of like
that's the problem, Jova. With games like Skyrim or Fallout, they manage to be buggy despite not being rushed. So, if anything, this doesn't tell, that much.
Here's the thing, we can blame the bugs on Rebellion. What we blame the rushed development on is Bethesda. It's sort of like how we can blame Activision for the rush nature of Crash Team Racing Nitro Field. Despite that game being good in a lot of areas, it does have problems.
Yes, this is one of those games where, when it comes to end stages or near the end of the game, the concept of difficulty is throwing every single type of enemy at the same time and a kitchen sink at you.
Boss enemies? What are those?
Yeah, there are no boss fights, so just letting you know. So we don't even have a case like a final boss or something.
Screw that noise. Mook rushes are where we're at with badly controlling controls, terrible perspective angles that allow you to get shot
I get
dead.
it. making an FPS or TPS boss with a quote-unquote realistic human setting with no real superpowers or anything may be tough, but you know, there are different solutions that you can apply to, like, I don't know, a tank boss or an helicopter boss or maybe like a vehicle boss.
Oh, those are
you know.
like, I mean, those are like the easiest things to do in this kind of game. Even Terminator Salvation had some
can also
bosses.
You usually when in these cases you have like a heavily
Hold on.
armored guy with.
Admiral, the train's loaded. I gotta hit you.
You watch yourself, Marcenko.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, boss.
Bye.
Oh my god, that was a terrible line read.
Make any headline.
So anyway, the train, unfortunately, we couldn't stop the missiles before they departed, so we'll have to follow them wherever they go. So see you for the next part where we reach our destination.
See you then.
See ya.
See ya.